Hello there, kia ora. Auckland's East is a fascinating place. It includes some of the wealthiest people in the country, the ones who donated tens of thousands to the campaigns of the current coalition. But it also has areas like Glen Innes and Flatbush, which are often considered vote deserts. Flatbush so far has around 12% voter returns compared to Howick and Orake's 20%. And because Auckland uses first past the post, it gives those areas with higher turnout much more likelihood of getting in the candidates who represent them around the table. It's also a bit of a confusing area map-wise. It includes Howick, which is huge and broken into subdivisions for the local boards, and is actually one of the fastest growing parts of Tamaki Makaurau, and Dorakai, which is the slowest almost in terms of population growth in the city. In 2022, Orakai, everyone voted in the local board was on the right-leaning C&R ticket, whereas Howick voted in board members from a range of tickets and independent affiliations. And across independents and tickets, there's a few red flags being waved. Now, quick disclaimer here, these are my red flags, they might not be your red flags. So please do some digging, check out the candidates and see if they share your values and the vision for the place that you call home. And none of that is going to matter if you don't vote and you are running out of time to do so. You should have your voting forms with you by now, and if not, check out your local council website for details on how you can cast a special vote. For the Orake council seat, Deputy Mayor Desley Simpson won this without any opposition, so there's no election in that. And in Howick, there's 8 people racing for 2 seats, and across the candidates, there's a ton of governance experience, including 2 current local board members, a former councillor, school board members, and a current councillor that was a former MP. And while Howick is guaranteed at least 1 new councillor seat since Sharon Stewart isn't seeking re-election, there's a lot on offer for voters to choose from, which they could see 2 new people representing the area. But there's issues. Like Ali Daesh, he's the ACT Party candidate. He signed the TPU pledge and he claims in the very leading questionnaire from Voices for Freedom that he's going to vote to remove Māori wards in an area that doesn't have them. You've also got Barry Jensen. He's been campaigning on a rates cap and signed the Unworkable Taxpayer Union pledge. He's shared AstroTurf Group TPU content and put up a post mourning the death of Charlie Kirk. And you've got Maurice Williamson. This is the former MP who went from being celebrated as the MP who gave the big gay rainbow speech in Parliament and invites to be on Ellen to complaining about sandwiches and giving multiple appearances on disinformation propaganda channel Reality Check Radio. There's been meetings with Winston Peters and as a speaker at Dirty Politics player Cameron Slater's birthday party. He has a history of ill-thought-out comments, like the time that he said, if there are some people who just can't lose weight no matter what, why weren't there fat people in the Holocaust? And he made headlines last term for calling internal council signs with Te Reo Māori objectionable and making comments of a sexual nature about Wellington Mayor Tory Whānau on a council meeting. You've also got Paul Young, who's a former councillor wanting to be re-elected. He still signed that unworkable TPU pledge. Now, back in Orake, there's a local board running which is going to be right-leaning no matter what happens or how people vote. There's 12 candidates with 7 seats. 7 people that are running are with the National Aligned C&R group. 3, Rob Meredith, Martin Marler and Amanda Lockyer, are ACT candidates. You have Troy Churton in that C&R ticket. He was actually the candidate who made headlines a couple of weeks ago for making finger guns behind Paul Goldsmith's back at a meeting. And if there's any ward in the country that's likely to vote in somebody from ACT to any role this election, it's going to be this one. After all, they did vote in Brooke Van Veldin as their local MP. For the Howick local board, since the area is so large, it's actually split into 4 subdivisions. In the Flatbush subdivision, you've got David Collins. He's running as part of that right-wing C&R group. He claims that being involved in the Wellington protest and watching as people hung a noose to threaten sitting MPs wasn't a concern. He's made false claims about the level of vaccine injuries from the COVID vaccine, false equivalence claims between drowning and COVID deaths, and those who died directly from COVID and those who died where COVID hastened their death. There's conspiracies about future pandemics. He's a member of disinformation groups on Telegram and friends with the founders of Voices for Freedom. He's shared content from far-right figure Jordan Peterson and hard-right US media organisation Breitbart. You also have former MP Jamie Lee Ross here. He was the founder of Advance NZ, the party that merged with Billy TK's NZ Public Party at the last election. Together they oppose mandatory vaccination, 5G technology, 1080 poisoning, water fluoridation, electromagnets, abortion, and UN action plans on sustainable development. After leaving Parliament in 2023, Ross then began an escort business where concerns have been raised by some of the staff about the safety of women that work there, claiming that there wasn't adequate protection and safety protocols in place and no emotional or physical well-being support after a violent incident occurred. There's so many great candidates running in East Auckland. Across the Howick subdivisions is, I suspect, some of the most culturally diverse groups of candidates of any race in Aotearoa that all bring with them a range of experience and skills and worldviews which will help them succeed in the local board. In Orake, the only guaranteed outcome is that the local board will be right-leaning. And while it's not my cup of tea, the area is actually one of the few places in the country that I would recommend voters at the general election vote National. Not because of the candidate, but because of the alternative. And there's some passionate candidates running in this race as well. And as for who's going to take out that Howick seat at council, that's actually a really tough call because the turnout in places like Flatbush is so low, where we see so much diversity on offer in potential board candidates. It's a choice that could be chosen by the more affluent parts of the ward, which are statistically more likely to vote. But there's still a few days left to change all that. Voting is done by postal ballot, but Tuesday is the last day you can send stuff in. And from now on, you need to make sure it goes into a drop box. And if you don't have your voting form already, you can check out Vote Auckland on how to cast a special vote. Auckland uses first past the post, so you tick your preferred candidates, and there is no poll here on the future of Māori wards. You can find more information about your local elections on the Vote Auckland website, or you can visit my website, alltheotherone.com/LG25 for more resources. Hey, thanks for sticking around till the end of the video. While you're here, why not hit that like button or share the video or even subscribe to the channel. You could even become a paid YouTube member so you can see things released in advance, you get access to some exclusive content, and like all these awesome people, you get to have your name at the end of the credits as well.